Please be seated. Well, I had a very great pleasure of watching the video of Sarah Manley van Gulden's sermon of last week. While I had the very great pleasure of being with my son and his family that Sunday down in Greensburg, down in North Carolina. Yeah, I have this amazing 15-month-old granddaughter. For Christmas, we gave the family one of those modern devices where you can walk the child or you can run with the child, and it's all buckled in and it's safe. And so we thought this was great, and it was actually wonderful, excepting the 15-month-old granddaughter won't ride it. She needs to push it. So here's this little thing with the hands right up on the bars, pushing it up the hill and down the hill, and it turns the whole expectation of what life is upside down. Which is what Jesus did. Turned our expectation of life upside down. People thought that they knew what life was about, and Jesus said, well, actually, no. I think the passage from Acts that we heard this morning is the only one where he is referred to as the author of life. I want to think with you about what it means that Jesus is the author of life today. Firstly, if Jesus is the author, then I am not the author. Often we think that we get to make our life up. We get to decide about life and how it will be. It's up to us. We are free. There's even a chant that I chanted once in my younger student Christian days. Free, free, free to decide what this world is going to be. This imperative is ours, to be free, free, free to decide. But we decide life, and then life happens, and it isn't what we decided. I met with Matt Mathai yesterday, preparing for the baptism of his daughter, his son, Jackson. Jocelyn is a 3-year-old. Yeah. And so, you have children, and life is not what you decided. They have their own mind and their own passions and disrupt things entirely. And Matt's life has been more disrupted than that. His mother died a few years ago. And so they were making plans for his father to come and live with them. And his father was in India for a while, saying goodbye to the family there. And they sold their house and were about to buy a house with an in-law apartment in it, where his father died in India. So now they've got a 3-year-old and a 4-month-old, and they're living with her parents. And life isn't what they planned. Life happens. And yet, in the middle of life, which isn't what we planned, there is Jesus, who is the author of life. So, while I'm not the author of my life, I do get to be the co-author if I'm willing for Jesus to be the author. If I am somehow given the grace to accept that life presents itself and I don't decide about it, then each moment becomes an opportunity for me to choose the life that is being authored and to find my response. Jesus was always discovered in relationship and always inviting people to know the love that was present, the healing that was available, and the life which was there to be claimed, and inviting them to step into that life and to claim it and to shape it, as Matt and his wife Candace are very clearly doing. So that's my invitation to you this morning. To allow for the reality that we don't get to just shape life the way we want it. But to trust that in this present moment, Jesus is there to be found, to give us the grace to choose this moment and to live in this moment. And even though we don't know how it's all going to turn out, to trust that in the end, there will be God. So, to be an author is to be vulnerable, even to be a co-author, because it means I put my name on what I do with my life. I don't have the luxury of going around blaming somebody else for it. It's my life, my choices. Even though I wouldn't have scripted it that way exactly, it's still, I get to be the co-author. It's not like writing anonymously on the blog where I can say whatever I want and nobody knows who I am. It's claiming it. So, here's some opportunities to practice. There are a couple of walks to be going on. And I know that Sally, you're going on the walk for hunger, right? No? You just organizing. Who's going on the walk for hunger?
I don't know.
Steve is. All right.
He does, yeah.
Steve is, that's right. Yeah. Okay, Christopher is. Then there's a walk for peace that Tricia is going on. This is a walk that's been going on in Dorchester for 30 years, organized by a woman whose son was shot. And she's been organizing people to walk with her for peace. And Steve and I went a couple of years ago. It's a great walk. So Tricia is going, Tricia De Beer, and you can step out and go with her. Authoring life is stepping into trusting that God is with us and stepping out into the world to proclaim it. As Jesus shares fish with the disciples in the gospel. He says, look, I'm here. Death is not the end. Come with me into life and proclaim the reality of a life based on love and forgiveness to the whole world. That's the story. That's the real story. And we get to co-author it and how it comes out. So go on a walk or stay at home or do something. But whatever you're doing, put your name to it. Choose life. Choose love. Choose to step into the footsteps of Jesus, the author of life.